Hi, welcome to the Vaguely Anime Podcast. I'm one of the hosts this evening, Michael. Followed by... Fuck, I said evening. Followed by the other host in Culture Corner, Sage.
Hi, that's me.
Damn it. I'm still making... Again, I feel like it's justified. It was 100 something
It's in your
episodes.
body to say this evening, so I think you're fine.
It just doesn't make sense.
I know. It's okay.
Yeah, I did tell you we got another hate comment, right?
Yes. You should have sent us a screenshot. I didn't see it.
Oh, yeah. By Holo Enjoyer 85 something. And I was like, I wonder where this one's going.
Shout out to you, Holo Enjoyer 85 or whatever your username is.
Which is funny because they were like, it's not a hate comment, but it felt very worded like it was. My favorite part about it is that...
No hate, but...
Yeah, it was like everybody except the guy that recommended it. And then it went on to be like, and I was like, I like how it's just the guy that recommended it and not like... Because they apparently they saw one of the shorts.
Oh.
So it wasn't like the episode.
Right.
And they had commented twice, once on the short and then once on our newest video.
Oh, interesting.
The same comment.
Interesting.
They just said they did it again on the newest video so that it would be seen.
I guess that's valid.
Fair enough.
We see you.
And just so you know, Holo Enjoyer whatever numbers, I still love it. So, there's that. And the new one I plan on watching more of at some point. I've watched like a few episodes.
Did that start already?
Yeah, it did. I just haven't continued it because I've just been doing more movies than TV related things.
That's fair.
So I was, if anything, it builds up now.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
we are going to be, at least for some amount of time, talking about my Spider-Man ranking list that I did when I rewatched them last month-ish.
So fairly
there.
Fresh.
Yeah,
I will be honest. The Tom Holland Spider-Man movies and Beyond the Spider-Verse movies are the most fresh in my brain, just because I've seen those the most recently. So especially Amazing Spider-Man movies, I have very little to say because I watched those movies and then they kind of just fell out of my brain right away. So sorry if I have very little to say about those. The Raimi trilogy, I understand that they are technically not very good.
Okay, so...
But that level of goofiness, I eat that shit up.
So, look, I saw the movies when they came out.
Right.
Well, all right, so should we... say the list and then go into the takes.
Sure. So Mike's list is Across the Spider-Verse is number 1.
Yeah, it was from best to worst.
Yeah, best to worst. Best being Across the Spider-Verse, followed by Into the Spider-Verse, followed by Amazing Spider-Man, the first one. No Way Home, Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire. Amazing Spider-Man 2 with Andrew Garfield. Spider-Man Homecoming. Spider-Man Far From Home, Spider-Man 1, again, Tobey Maguire, and then Spider-Man 3, Tobey Maguire.
Yes.
I will be honest, I'm surprised Far From Home is so low. Like, that immediately strikes me. Like, I'm not surprised that you put Spider-Man 3 at the bottom. Even though I love that movie. I'm obsessed with it. But I'm not surprised it's at the bottom.
So Far From Home still has a 4 out of 5.
Okay.
There's just better movies.
I feel like I like Far From Home a little. For me, Far From Home edges out Homecoming. Even though, yes, that's our introduction to Tom Holland Spider-Man, like real introduction, not just him being thrown in Civil War.
Yeah.
And I do think they do a great job introducing him, but I really like the perspective that that we're seeing of Peter in Far From Home, of like, this is post Endgame MCU.
Yeah.
And Peter just lost again, essentially, his most important father figure. And then he's being constantly bombarded with these images of like absolute worship of Tony.
Yeah.
you know.
Is he the next Tony Stark?
Is he the next Tony Stark? This unbelievable amount of pressure. I also really just love Jake Gyllenhaal's performance. I think he's so fun.
My biggest fault with the movie is that, and I mean, you could say this too about No Way Home, and I think people do, is that like it feels like there's some plot conveniences that are pretty like he is so quick to trust Mysterio. So quick with a very extremely important thing.
Yeah, but he's also a complete idiot.
Yeah,
the man can barely ask out the woman that he likes.
Right.
Like, he can barely hold hands.
And
you think he's mature enough mentally and emotionally to understand that he can't just replace Tony Stark with this guy who is also smart and charming? You think he's emotionally and mentally mature enough for that?
It's more that, like...
I think a part of the problem is by the time Far From Home happens, Tom Holland, obviously with time, he's going to look older. So, like, you're not, at least for me, I was not viewing him as an idiot 16-year-old or however old he is in these movies. Yeah. Because he's still in high school here. You know what I mean?
No, like, I feel like the movie, like, it does a great job at, like, selling how out of depth he is in trying to balance his life and everything. But, like, and again, I still think it's a good movie. I think the CGI is incredible and there are fantastic moments. It's just that, like, there's like a little bit more joy to Homecoming to me. And I think Vulture is like one of the best villains in the MCU, if not the best villain.
I think Homecoming is also...
It just kind of gets pushed up.
Do you prefer Homecoming because that is a way smaller scale problem? Because I remember us talking about how, like...
MCU is a scale problem.
A scale problem where if every single movie is like world-ending threat... Mm-hmm. Nothing matters.
Yeah, and to be fair, it is a fake world-ending threat,
right? But
in two, but like, yeah.
But Peter is in the beginning, he doesn't know that.
Yeah,
and we're not supposed to know that.
But it just like it feels like Homecoming is just like a bit more of like the self-contained story that's like just this kid trying to go to fucking homecoming,
right?
And balance a life and have some friends and whatever. And
he's trying to become that neighborhood friendly Spider-Man.
Where I just think it's a little more enjoyable than Far From Home, which again still has great moments. And again, it's still 4 out of 5. It's just that like I think I enjoy watching Homecoming more. Again, also because I think I just love the Michael Keaton Vulture so much. That scene when he opens the fucking door to pick up Liz. And it's just Michael Keaton. And you're like...
Because honestly, I feel like... So I actually... I didn't watch these movies in theaters. And when I was kind of doing my like catching up with MCU, because I was like, I know I'm kind of behind. I'm not so behind where I can't understand what's going on. But I was like, I know I've missed like a good chunk of content. So let me try to like catch up. When I was watching Homecoming and that scene happened, because there's very, very, I feel like they almost, the hints that there are so small that unless you're looking for it, like you're not even going to know.
No.
And then not only that, but he immediately is like, Pete, right? And then he's not calling him Peter, which feels so weird. Yeah. And it's like the whole scene of them together, you're like, does he know? Is he intentionally like dressing him down?
And then him putting it together in the car ride, and the like, I need to have the dad talk.
Yeah,
and which I do always think is funny because I remember How It Should Have Ended did a bit on that part where he puts his hand on the seat with the gun, mm-hmm. and How You Should Have Ended, they have Peter just grab his arm, and he's like, oh, what are you going to do with that gun? Oh, do you not have super strength? Oh, can you not move your arm? Yeah, all right. So what are you going to do with that gun?
He doesn't have his Peter tingle. He doesn't know.
Yeah, it's just like, obviously he's not thinking about that because he's a child and now being threatened with a gun all of a sudden.
Right.
But I do think that that's funny.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, you have super strength, so you can just hold his arm in place and they'll be like, help, police, this man has a gun. He's trying to kill me. But I do think that was funny.
Yeah.
But like that entire car ride where he's putting it together.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, thanks for your old pal Spider-Man, huh?
Do I know you from somewhere? Because it's the voice.
Yeah. And so like I think that he is probably the best villain in the MCU. And so like it just kind of
Don't you hate that any potential that he has just been completely
because he's in the Sony verse now.
Him and Morbius, they're gonna get together, a group of them. Yeah. Yeah. Horrible.
I do love though that the Tom Holland trilogy is like a prequel to him learning to be Spider-Man.
Yeah. It really is.
Because in Civil War they hit you with he's already had the big responsibility speech. With great power comes great responsibility, and like whatever. But then
they kind of take that back.
Yeah, they do kind of take it back, and
they take it back right away in Homecoming.
Yeah, and then they make all three movies into basically just the prequel to him being the Spider-Man you want. Yeah, essentially broke. Nobody knows who the fuck he is. Yeah. Except he has no aunt this time. He had to lose his aunt for this story to be.
I feel like the ending of Far From Home is just absolute misery.
No Way Home?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, and again, everyone.
The titling is in my brain is get mixed up.
And again, everybody has the same complaint about No Way Home, which is like, if anybody explained any part of this spell at any point, or like Peter was like, oh. I would just like the people that knew prior to the leak to know who it is. Or if he was like, hey, by the way, before I cast this, everybody's going to forget. And then Peter's like, oh, wait. Can some people still know?
I don't think it works like that.
If they just talked about it before casting the spell?
I mean, yes, you were right. They should have talked about it, but like...
Because once he was like, that's not how the spell works, Peter was like, oh, then I don't want that.
Right.
So... he wouldn't have went through with it anyway. So, I mean, everybody has that same problem. Right. Everybody's like, why the fuck didn't they just say something to each other? Which, valid. Yeah. And then, again, it's like everybody forget Peter. And it's like, well, I feel like you could do a different version of the spell somehow to not do that. But whatever. But like it's still incredible. Like the movie itself, like the all the villains coming back, all the Spider-Man on screen. Andrew Garfield gets his redemption, and catching MJ. Yeah. Which is a beautiful moment. Yeah. And I do think it's funny though that like when all of them are talking about loss, and Tobey Maguire's like my Uncle Ben, and Andrew has multiple people, but he just hits Gwen, my MJ, and it's like, oh, your Uncle Ben doesn't matter, huh? All right. It's like not
this man can't catch a break.
Yeah, it's not Gwen and my Uncle Ben, and also Captain Stacy, Gwen's dad. Yeah, and also like it's just like Ben, his Uncle Ben.
He's just gonna rattle off like a whole list.
Yeah, like his Uncle Ben just kind of gets shafted because. I guess they didn't want 3 people to be like, or 2 people to be like my Uncle Ben.
Well, I do you think they didn't do that because they kind of already used that joke in Into the Spider-Verse?
Oh, what the guy in the chair?
When
the therapy chair.
A therapy chair.
Oh no, I'm talking Across the Spider-Verse when.
No.
Like, then let me guess. He died.
Yeah, no. In Into the Spider-Verse, where Miles is like, oh my God, my uncle, he's the Prowler. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And they're like, it's okay, Miles. Like, we all deal with loss. Like, you can't save everybody. Or maybe this is later in the movie that I'm thinking.
It takes place they're all like, because when he's like, my uncle's the Prowler, Spider-Man Noir goes, wow, that's a compelling backstory.
Yeah, this is a pretty hardcore origin story. But no, so it's after Aaron passes. And he's like, oh, what am I going to do? And they're like, no, it's okay. And then they're all like, for me, it was my Uncle Ben. My Uncle Benjamin. Yeah. For me, it was my friend Peter. Yeah. For me, it was my dad, Ben Parker, or whatever. Ben, yeah, etc. But
Yeah, I don't know. It probably just because they didn't want Toby to be like my Uncle Ben and then have Andrew be like my Uncle Ben.
Right.
They were like, make it Gwen.
Yeah, make it somebody else.
And then he kind of brings it back when they're like, when she told me with great power comes great responsibility, and he's like, they both have that look and they're like, I have heard that too.
Yeah.
On the day Ben died, and so like you infer that
that
Tom
has
Holland,
a weight in his
that Tom Holland can understand that his Uncle Ben also died.
Yes.
But yeah. Anyway.
But anyway, yeah. So I'm just a little surprised that Far From Home is so low. But you are right, and like I guess if everything else is so high, like it's hard to be like.
Yeah, it just kind of ends up at the back.
So what did you rate Spider-Man 3, Tobey Maguire?
A 2.
A 2?
Yeah.
Out of 5?
Yeah. Okay. So all right. So look, I saw those movies when I was a kid. I also liked them, except for 3. I didn't really like 3.
Oh my god, I was obsessed with 3.
And
do you want to know why I was obsessed with 3? It's literally the most me reason.
He was emo. Because
not that Peter Parker was emo, but because he had the black suit. It looked great. I was obsessed with it.
So
because Tobey Maguire does not rock the emo look.
Sure
I'm
doesn't.
sorry.
Sure doesn't at all.
I'm sorry.
But look, rewatching them, because I remembered liking them. So I was going into the rewatch like, all right, cool. Well, I mean, -3. I was like, cool. This is going to be fun. And the action parts and the Spider-Man parts are all good. Green Goblin's good, if corny. Doc Ock is fucking incredible. Everybody loves Alfred Molina's Doc Ock and all the fight scenes and action sequences in the movies thereafter.
Yeah.
But it's just any time it is the normal humans, Peter Parker, MJ, Harry, Norman,
Yeah.
Aunt May, it is the most cringy dialogue on the especially when it's Peter and MJ. It is painfully cringy.
I will be honest. I feel like, and this is not shade to Tobey Maguire or Kirsten Dunst, because I think they are very good actors, but they have negative chemistry together.
They dated.
They have negative chemistry together. With Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone, even Tom Holland and Zendaya, when they're not even like officially dating within the context of the movie, you can see the spark, right? Yeah. Like you could see the twinkle. Mm-hmm. Peter and MJ in like the OG trilogy are terrible for each other. And the movies keep telling us why they're terrible for each other. But then they keep trying to push the relationship because it's MJ and Spider-Man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they have a big The Graduate moment. You know that movie?
I don't think so.
All right, then I'm not going to say it because it's the end of the movie.
Okay,
so
sorry.
It's a spoiler. And if you see it one day, it's better not to know.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, so I'll just move on from that point. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, it's just like it constantly, you're never like, these people should work. Like, it never gives you the reason why they
You know what's so funny is when we see MJ with any other man,
J. Jonah Jameson's kid,
she seems like she's having a better time than when she is with
when
Peter.
She's dating the astronaut that was the first guy to play fucking baseball on the moon or some shit, or football on the moon, I think, which they really gloss over.
And didn't she have like, she was like engaged to another guy?
She was engaged to him. They were gonna get married. She runs away from his wedding.
Yes.
She runs away. She leaves him at the altar.
Is that the beginning of 2?
It's the end of 2.
The end of 2, sorry. Yes, you're absolutely right. But like when we see,
she leaves him at the altar.
Even when we see like they're trying to do the whole like, oh, maybe she's going to be with Harry thing. Even them together, they seem like they have a better time together than she has with Peter. They just like, you know, that whole thing of whenever there's like a MJ and Spider-Man storyline, but it's like young. Mm-hmm. So they're like just getting to like become a couple.
Yeah.
It's always just painful.
Mm-hmm.
That's these 3 movies, but worse because they're adults in the context of the movies, except for the first one.
Yeah.
It's horrible. I will say that really drags them down.
They have every scene is just painful.
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 It doesn't. Not once do I think to myself, even when I was younger, watching these movies. Not once where I was like, "That's so cute. Oh, how sweet.
No, I think
so wholesome." No,
Yeah, no, the best chemistry out of any of them is Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone.
I would agree.
Um,
Followed by Tom Holland and Zendaya.
yeah,
And then obviously,
Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone carry Amazing Spider-Man 2.
you can see it in their eyes.
They
You know what I mean?
carry that movie.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wish they were still together. The amount of like just pure chemistry those two oozed.
Even like because I remember when they were together, and this was like the hot talk on town about like their relationship, and everyone and their mother was like, "This is endgame. They're gonna get married. They're gonna be pumping out some babies. Like they will be together until they are in the grave." And then they broke up. Tumblr, when they broke up, it was going crazy. They were like, "Love does not exist."
And they said they're still great friends. It was just like their lives were so chaotic, and they were never like around each other because they were constantly going other
Right, they're
things.
filming other projects.
They were just like it didn't work.
Yeah.
And like I get it.
They both also just seem like the most nicest, most genuine, sweetest people in the world.
Fun fact: Emma Stone hates being called Emma.
Really?
She wants to be called by her actual name, Emily.
Really?
Yeah, Emily Stone already existed in the SAG Guild, so she had to do Emma.
I didn't know
And so
that.
she usually asks.
So what? You couldn't
people-
have two of the same person?
Yeah, you can't have the same names. That's why a lot of actors change names
Oh, they do like their middle name or something like
or
that.
whatever. Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, so she does not like Emma. Anytime anyone asks, she will say to be called Emily.
I learned something new today.
So if you ever see Emma Stone on the street,
Don't call her Emma. Call her Emily.
yeah,
Gotcha.
she'll probably like you a lot more for that. But yeah, like their chemistry is just
Really good. I will say
the perfect amount of showing that in that movie is in
two.
Yeah, in 2 is when they end up in like the storage closet.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, the storage. This is the most cliche of hiding. And she's like, I'm sorry, I didn't find the Bahamas of hiding places. And like, it's just like that little scene of them in the fucking closet is like the culmination of like what is perfect about that movie. Is just how ungodly good they are together. And you're like, and it just carries the movie.
I think I'll have to watch them again because I remember when I initially watched Amazing Spider-Man and then Amazing Spider-Man 2, something about it, even though I actually, going into those movies, I already liked Andrew Garfield as an actor and I already liked Emma Stone as an actress. So I was like prepared to enjoy them, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But something about those movies, I just could not like latch on to them, if that makes sense. It's not even that I had a bad experience watching them, but like I watched them and then they left my brain immediately,
Right.
and I couldn't tell you why. So maybe I need to rewatch them and like reevaluate it because I have not a single thought.
Yeah, like, well, because Amazing Spider-Man 2 does have a lot of rough things about it. A lot of rough things. And I literally, in my review, I was like, the reason why this gets higher than, like, say, some of the Raimi movies is because liking the main characters goes such a long way. Of, like, enjoying them on screen at all times.
You know what it is? Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone, good. The movie as an entire product was not enough for me to like have this
like it's
justify
right.
its quality, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because
so
it's
that's why
overloaded with too many characters, and like you don't really give a shit about the villains, and
it's the problem that 3 has
and
because it's doing too much.
Yeah, and the parents subplot, and you're like, who gives a shit? And it also goes nowhere because they cut the scene where his dad shows up at the end. And like there are problems. It's just that like liking the characters goes a very long way.
I will say, like, because for me, I really like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man because it's a perfect encapsulation, in my opinion, of superhero movies at the time, which were just going to be cringe no matter what, because I don't think Hollywood understood that they could be not cringy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, so like we have Tobey Maguire being Peter Parker. He is really cringy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's this balance of cringe, but like incredible feats of like heroism.
Right.
That I think those movies, for me, they balance that really well. And like the cringe for me is just fun.
Gotcha.
You know?
Yeah.
So like I enjoy the cringe because it's not so cringy to me that I'm like, why did you do this? This is a
Right.
literal crime against humanity. Where it's just like, this is goofy. This is off the wall. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
So it's a time capsule for me.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to like think of. I think that like what Amazing Spider-Man 2 does well enough to carry it above others to me also is like, again, liking the characters goes a long way.
But you
like,
have Amazing Spider-Man over 2.
Oh, Amazing Spider-Man's my favorite live action. Easy.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, like, you keep talking about 2.
Yeah, well, because 2 is the one that I think a lot of people are going to be like, how the fuck is
That's
it
where they
above
drop
other
off.
movies? Yeah,
Oh,
like,
okay. I am picking up what you're
Like,
putting
I think
down. Okay.
maybe some people could be like, sure, it's above 3, but how the fuck is it above original Spider-Man, Far From Home, and The Homecoming?
Right. I will say Spider-Man 2, Tobey Maguire, like, that movie, I think, is what, when that movie came out, because I think that it's just so well done as a Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man story.
Like, everything that has to do with Spider-Man.
Right. Great.
Top.
Peak. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think there's a lot less, like, interpersonal drama in terms of, like, screen time. Because Spider-Man 1, we spent a long time.
Sure do. Same with 3.
Exactly. With interpersonal drama, which was not their strong suit.
Really? Peter's just kind of a dick in all of the movies.
He really
He's
is.
just kind of a shitty person.
Peter is horrible.
Yeah,
Peter is Spider-Man great.
He's just kind of a shitty person.
And it's so funny to me because, like, Peter kind of starts off as a piece of shit, and then in 3, when they're supposed to be like, oh my god, look how bad he is, I'm like, he's not doing anything different.
He's just kind of always
He
been
was
a piece of
this,
shit.
like, irresponsible and, like, unaware of other people's feelings.
Now he's just being overtly that.
Yeah. Now he's doing it with confidence.
Yeah. But with Amazing Spider-Man 2, I think it also does a great job at, like, I think it has the best portrayal of Spider-Man, which is that, with the amount of random civilians he helps and the interactions between them.
That's fair.
Grabs Max. Hey man, how you doing? Oh, hey, let me fix your hair. Like, oh, here's your things. Like, how you doing today? Like, hey man, you like, and he's like, oh, nobody pays attention to me. He's like, dude, what do you mean? Like, you're my guy. And he's like, but I gotta go. Like, see ya. Or when he helps the kid that's getting like bullied, and he fixes the like turbine. He's like, oh, what is this? And he's like, is this a turbo? You built this? That's incredible. And like, shit like that.
He's a very positive Spider-Man.
Yeah, like he's just
the more confident, self-assured.
Yeah, it shows
Spider-Man.
him doing a lot of like great small deeds.
Yeah.
And like and written well that like it makes up for a lot of the stuff. Like he talks Electro down from belittling himself before he becomes Electro.
Right.
And even when he sees Electro, he tries to talk him down.
Right.
He's like, wait, Max, I know you. You're my guy. Like, all right, man. Like, come on. Like, let's chill. Let's go. Like, we don't want to hurt anybody.
Let's not be doing all this.
Yeah, like
calm down.
Let's just talk. And the only reason that it fails is because one of the fucking police snipers shoots him.
Fucking idiots.
Like he tries to just talk him out of it.
Stuff like that in movies always makes me so mad because I'm like, you had him. Everything would have been fine if you guys didn't fuck up.
It's always that.
It's always that.
Let's see what else. Peter, the Amazing Spider-Man also has Peter sciencing the shit out of everything.
True.
Sciences his web shooter. In 2, he's sciencing the shit out of trying to make it where it can hold an electric charge.
Question. In terms of like intelligence, because Peter is always canonically very smart.
Yeah.
A genius, you might even say. But like,
he's mostly like he's like a chemical engineer. Like
Yeah.
a chemical genius.
yeah. But like in terms of like Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland, like where would you rate them in terms of like how smart they made their characters? Tobey Maguire obviously at the bottom.
I was like, based on what they show you,
They make Tobey a fucking idiot.
yeah, like based on
Peter in the Raimi trilogy,
yeah,
not one brain cell active.
I mean, like he understands things because he understands the Doc Ock's machine,
Right.
but like in the way that they show their intelligence, I would probably put Andrew at the top. It's probably a toss up between him and
Holland, right?
and Holland.
Like I can't decide either who I think would be
but
smarter.
I feel like yes, they show Peter. Tom making his web fluid. They show Tom making the web fluid, but like, I feel like you don't get a sense of how smart he is. Like as, I don't even know if that's accurate. I don't know.
I feel like
Toby's at the bottom.
Toby's definitely at the bottom, but I feel like in the toss-up between Andrew and Tom, my main thing in terms of like where I can't actually decide is because Tom's Spider-Man, he is
A nerd.
Not only a nerd, but like he has a very good understanding of Stark technology. So like,
but Ned hacks it.
Yes, Ned hacks it, but like he knows how to use it. You know, like he can build his own suit and things like that.
His suit was the sweatshirt.
No, he builds his own suit. Again.
Okay, yes, but that is with access to the Stark fabricator.
So that's what I'm saying. Like
and Stark's plans.
He is on paper smart, yes, because he's going to MIT or trying to, but
and
like
the school that they're in.
But
Midtown High is also like a science elite thing.
I like STEM, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I get it, but I'm like, is that an unfair advantage that he has the Stark technology?
Yeah, because
we see him use math to defeat Doctor Strange in the mirror dimension.
Yeah, that's what I've been thinking about. But
I feel like
I don't know. I feel like it's two very different showings of smart. That it's a little hard to be like, this one feels smarter than the other.
I agree, because I feel like
we know Andrew's Peter is smart because A, he is in the special school, and B, he's second in the grade.
Right.
And he understands the decay rate algorithm that he finds. Like, he understands it to an extent. He doesn't make the webs, but he makes the web shooter. And then he sciences the shit out of making them no longer able to be electrified. And I feel like they're different. They're different things.
I feel like Andrew Garfield is like physical paper in reality smart,
like engineer smart,
and Tom Holland's is like conceptual smart.
Right.
You know, like the guys who do like theoretical math.
Right.
Which I can't even
imaginary numbers.
I can't even start to wrap my brain around. I'm like, theoretical?
Yeah.
Shouldn't it be, you know?
Yeah. Quantum physics.
Yeah, you understand. So like the theoretical aspect is where you lose me.
Yeah.
Like physical stuff, I can start to like at least be like, okay, this is visually how things work. I understand.
Yeah.
Gone. Theoretical gone.
Yeah. I think they're just two very different portrayals of intelligence.
Yeah, and I think their focuses are also different. Like
which
you were
is funny,
saying, like
when you started asking the question, I was like, "Oh, Andrew." But then once I really thought about it for more than 5 seconds, I was like, "Ah." So yeah, I think
they're equally smart, but in different fields.
Yeah.
If you put them through a field test of like, what knowledge do you have about like different sectors of math and science, I think they would excel in different areas.
Yeah.
But they would both be exceptional in those different areas.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
and then
And
there's
then Tobey Maguire would be like,
above average.
I have a general understanding,
Of
but
everything.
he's not like an expert in anything.
Right.
A jack of all trades, master of none,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
He didn't have to make his own web shooter or fluid.
No, he certainly did not. But yeah, I'm not surprised. So is this because this is just Spider-Man movies that you included across and into
Yeah.
the Spider-Verse?
Yeah.
Because
They are Spider-Man movies.
No, you're absolutely right. But I feel like
They do feel different.
well, yes. But I feel like there's a lot of people who are like would put them in a separate category because they're animated, which I personally don't agree with because those are the best Spider-Man movies we've had so far.
Yeah. Live action, the best to me is Amazing Spider-Man. But if you're including everything, both animated Spider-Verse movies are above all of the others.
I agree.
So,
I'm very. Do you ever get so excited for, like, the finale that you're
so worried about it.
nervous?
I'm so worried about it.
Because I want you to know, Force Awakens, I was so here for it.
Same.
I personally love Force Awakens.
Same. It is if nothing else, a gorgeous movie.
It is unbelievably gorgeous. I think if you were able to watch the first trilogy of Star Wars in theaters when they came out, I think the emotions you would have feeling watching that trilogy, I feel like they did such a good job replicating that level of emotional investment with Force Awakens. So I was very excited for The Last Jedi. And then
hate comments, definitely.
I was like, okay, I am willing to go down the road you guys are going. Do I like it? Not particularly. I don't think it's objectively bad like how some people will say. Like they will completely discredit everything that the movie has to offer. I don't believe in that. The overall tone and theme,
yeah,
not really for me. And then when we got to Rise of Skywalker,
which was really just a no-win scenario.
it really was
A lot of people put that on Abrams, but like Disney was like, fix it.
But the whole thing was like I was like nervous but excited because I was like I could see the potential of where you're going with Last Jedi. Even though it's bonkers, okay? But I could see what you guys mean.
Yeah.
The through line. If you just end it good, I can understand the stumble. And so now with Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse, incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Like, truly, I don't think I will have that kind of viewing experience again. Just the absolute shock. The absolute delight. Such high quality production.
Yep.
Everything is just working at absolute maximum capacity and so cohesively at the same time, like excellence, like perfect film. And then to follow up with Beyond,
Across.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Across, where they already had the expectation, so they could so easily have fumbled the bag.
Literally, I remember what I said was my expectations were through the roof, as much as I tried for them not to be.
Yeah.
And yet somehow it surpassed them.
Going into Across the Spider-Verse, I was like, Sage, just be realistic. It's very, very difficult for any sequel to top the first movie. Just try to be reasonable. Because it's not like I expected the overall production quality to drop.
Yeah.
But I was like, maybe the writing's going to be weaker, or I'm not going to, be as invested or whatever.
Especially once we knew it was a part one.
Exactly.
It's like, it's a part one.
I actually didn't know it was a part one because I didn't look at any promotion.
Oh, you didn't see the name change prior?
No, I didn't actually. And I didn't see any promotional material
Oh, okay. So you
at
never saw
all.
when it was labeled as a part 1.
No, I never
Okay.
saw that. I never saw any of the promotional material going into the movie. I wanted to watch it completely blind, which I think for me was the right choice.
I mostly did the same thing. I just saw the name changes because
Yeah.
I live on the internet. It's hard to see that.
I live on the internet, but like I live in a very sequestered corner of the
Right.
internet, if that makes sense. Which is not like as involved with comics and film and things like
Yeah.
that. But so when I watched 2, I was like, this shit is crazy.
I am so nervous about especially because of like the production stories about 2,
Yeah.
which are not
Horror
great.
stories?
Yeah, horror stories to say the least.
Yeah.
And the fact that they kept changing things, and the fact that there are 3 versions of the movie, of which you can't watch 2 of them anymore, says a lot.
Yeah.
Like, you could have went to the theater, saw in version A, or saw version B, but then the home video version is a version C. And you're
Really?
like, bro.
So, because I saw it, I think I saw it opening night in theaters. So would that have been version A?
It depended on what theater you were in.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So, like our AMC probably had a version.
Interesting.
And then somewhere in the else's movie theater might have had a different version.
Interesting.
And they're not like drastic. Well, some of them are kind of slightly drastic changes. Like,
Please elaborate because I did not hear about any of this.
I don't remember all of the things, but I remember like one of them is like, you remember when the bridge collapses
Yeah, where they're in
in Mumbattan?
Mm-hmm.
You remember when the bridge collapses and Miles is like under the rubble and Gwen's like running over and she's like, no, Miles.
Mm-hmm.
In one version, it's just silent. She doesn't say anything.
Really?
Yeah. So there's like stuff like that.
So, but in the context of the movie,
I would
her
say that
actions, I assume, are still the same.
No, everything is still the same. It's
But
voices.
Oh, okay,
It's
okay.
dialogue
The
and stuff.
verbal context is different.
Or like little like this little snippet stuff.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like that you like notice if you're really paying attention. Some of
Right.
that stuff's
Something
also slightly
things
different.
that you notice on like the 20th viewing.
Yeah.
Because there's just constantly so much visual information
Yeah.
on the screen.
That's why I'm like, oh god, how do they, with how fucking
I mean,
of
but
a mess it feels like this.
Isn't it a good thing that they weren't like committed to releasing it?
It didn't finish until like a week
No,
before the movie went out.
No, I mean for Beyond. Isn't it better that they're not?
Oh yes, but it's just so in the dark about any kind of update.
Yeah.
And how terrible that thing was. Like, it's worrying.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot going against it.
I think, and this is me being optimistic. I might eat my words later. We don't know.
In 2 years.
In at least 2 years.
Who knows if we'll even still be doing the podcast then.
Exactly. But I think in my optimistic viewpoint, the first 2 movies are excellent setup. That do you not think there's just going to be like a natural flow to the ending?
They're doing a lot.
And
they have
also-
like 17 main characters.
And also, like, at least for me, I'm like, if I'm the person who's either like the screenwriter or the director or like my name is like the top on like the executive producers list or something like that, like, surely the people making this understand the unfathomable amount of hype and expectations.
Yeah, but sometimes it doesn't matter.
I just think
Because studios want money.
I understand that, but I think if they were able to overcome all of that and the studios wanting money and they produced Across the Spider-Verse, which could have so easily
Been terrible.
been terrible.
Yeah.
They could have so easily dropped the ball.
It's also that like a lot of people that said they worked on Across the Spider-Verse said that they probably wouldn't go back. So it's like you're already losing. I don't know. There's a lot. There's a lot.
It's messy.
Yeah, there's a lot. And this is a bit of a sidebar, but Batman Beyond, right?
Yeah.
You know that I forget the directors, but 2 directors pitched in the style of Spider-Verse Batman Beyond movie.
That would be
Neo
incredible.
Gotham. And you pull it up. There's Batman Beyond scrapped animated movie or something, and they released some of the visuals.
Wait, is this the one where HBO decided to nix it?
I don't think so, because it was going to be a movie.
Oh, it wasn't an HBO
No, it was
project.
gonna be a
Okay.
They were pitching it around.
Oh, okay.
And they were like, nah, because they released concept art for it.
Okay, I'm looking at the concept art.
And oh my god, like Batman Beyond's aesthetic is
So
perfect for that kind of look.
when I need you to know.
Look at that shit. Look at what we could have had.
And you're telling me we're not gonna get this
Nope.
ever?
Nope.
Why not?
Because studios hate money.
See, that's the thing I don't understand. Studios are so fucking money hungry, but anytime they have an excellent idea and people want it and they show stuff like this where they're like, here's the concept art, and they leak it online, and then the studios are like, the people want this, so we don't want it.
Literally, they were the people that released it, and they were like, yeah, this isn't happening, so fuck it. Here's some concept art we had mocked up for it, and like this is the general vibe.
This would be
Batman Beyond animated.
Because you know what it is? Batman Beyond already, that animation style already looks great. And I have always loved the super slick Batman look with the red logo.
Yeah.
That was my favorite design as a little kid. And this with like the neon, like super saturated look. It would be so. This is why we can't have nice things, okay? Because
everybody on the internet was so mad. They're like, "What do you mean it's not happening?"
Did they just decide we don't want $1 billion because nerds want it? Like, I don't understand.
Everybody was like, James Gunn, please.
No. You know what it is? Is because major studios truly still believe that animation is for children.
Yeah.
And I'm convinced Sony was like, yo, bet every child in America went to go see Into the Spider-Verse. That's why we got so much money. Mm-hmm. Completely disregarding
any adult
or teenager.
Yeah. No, I
just don't understand how loud adults and teenagers who love and appreciate animation, how loud we need to be, how much money we need to give these people.
Guillermo del Toro getting an Oscar for fucking Pinocchio, and then being like, animation is a medium, not a children.
It's not a genre.
It is a medium, and it is not just for children.
Any person who says animation is a genre has only watched either one kind of animation, or they have actively chosen to turn off their brain.
It's just, even cartoons as a kid are all so vastly different. Like, they all cover a wide array of genres.
And I think another huge problem with animation, especially here in the States, is in particular, whenever we have quote-unquote adult animation, what's in the quote-unquote adult animation world? Family Guy, American Dad, Velma, fucking nasty, horrible shows. Not only
please don't watch season 3.
Season 3?
Yeah, but didn't it get approved for season 3?
No. Do not tell me Velma is moving forward with the season 3. I didn't watch season 2.
I thought you did.
No, I didn't watch season 2. I saw like a couple of people talking about it online, and I was like, do I really want to subject myself to this torture again? No. Who is watching it?
Okay.
Because that's crazy.
There has not been confirmation. I thought there was.
I won't be surprised if there isn't, because
there shouldn't be.
At least from what I've heard, things have not gotten better.
No, I know. I heard it was worse.
Yeah. But anyway, the problem is with adult animation here, quote unquote adult animation here in the United States, is the people who create it, one, they assume, oh, it's for adults, so we can make it look ugly as fuck. Do you know how many absolutely horrendous shows I've seen advertised as adult animation that's on like Adult Swim or like Comedy Central or something like that?
Yeah.
Literal vomit to look at.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, who is this for? Do people enjoy this? And all of the like humor or whatever storyline, it's always a sitcom, or at least 9 out of 10 times it's going to be a sitcom format. And the humor is for adults who never matured past 14.
Yeah.
It's very annoying to me.
I just
I have a lot of feelings about adult animation in the United States.
Just looking at that concept art though, and you're like,
robbed.
What the fuck?
No, we're robbed. I wish you didn't show me this. Why am I even looking? Go away. I'm upset now.
Oh yeah, it is so obscenely upsetting.
Why when it's like, here is a extremely excellent idea and you will make literally boatloads of money, but we don't want to target it for literal infants, do studios decide that's too much of a risk?
It would have made
literal babies.
It would have made so much money.
Literal babies won't be able to understand the story, so we can't have it.
Would have made so much money. Oh my god. Batman Beyond's actually facing another similar problem with it's recently had 2 comic runs that are like part of like a trilogy, written by 2 writers that call themselves the Hive Mind, and the first 2 have come out, but the third has not been announced as a thing. And they every time are like, please buy more of the book, like, or buy the trade. Like, you like, it's like people want Batman Beyond, but people don't want Batman Beyond to succeed. That like control Batman Beyond, and you're like, why? It is so cool. Well, I say that actually, basically every Batman Beyond comic to ever exist is terrible, except for this run. They get really weird with Batman Beyond because they're like, they don't know what to do with it. So like they never know if it's like actually the canon future, if it's not the canon future, what to do with like is Terry's brother Robin? Is he not Robin? What do we do with the people that like?
So what? They just can't commit to anything?
The things they commit to are usually not interesting.
Oh.
Or they're bad, or like they're just not good ideas. Or like there's like weirdness. Like they can just, whoever's writing it just either doesn't give a shit, because one of the writers for a long time definitely just didn't care, or they just like don't know what to do, like what they want to bring in and what not to bring in. But this latest Neo Gotham or Neo Year and Neo Gothic have been like stellar. I'm really annoyed though because Neo Year is the first part 1, Act 1, and that released in a trade, like a paperback. But Act 2 only came out in a hardcover, and I'm like, motherfucker, I don't want to buy one. Like I have, I have the paperback. I don't want to buy the second one and it be a hardcover.
Yeah.
Like, I would buy it right now if you had
the whole reason why when you buy a set, they're all the same.
Right. Who wants to buy one as one and one as the other?
Could you imagine buying a set and they made like 3? Let's say you bought like 7 books, right? 5 of them were paperbacks and they made 2 random ones.
Right. It's like why
hardcover?
Why is you like it was
That's
like
crazy.
It's like a self-handicap because it's like I'm sure other people are also like
why would I want this?
I don't want a hardcover when the other one's a soft.
Do they offer the first one as a hardcover at all?
No. Which is weird because usually the first versions they release are hardcovers and then trades come out later.
So it's just a terrible marketing decision?
No idea. I'm like I just don't it's like they are self-sabotaging.
I hate it here.
God, I just like I want that third story so bad. The first two have been fucking incredible. The only thing I don't like about it is that they updated the Batman suit, and I think it's good except for one thing. They made like it's still slim, like the slim, slightly basic design,
Right.
but they added like a part to his cowl around the mouth where it's not a cutout, but it's like a lighter gray that you can kind of see the mouth expressions on, and I think it looks terrible. But
Instead of just like the black full.
yeah,
Okay.
pull it up. Search Batman Beyond Neo Gothic suit.
Number 1.
Sure. Whatever.
I'll just do images. Let's take a look. See.
You'll find it somewhere in just like an image of his suit. Probably. You might need to specify Neo Gothic suit though.
Oh, where it's like this?
Yeah, and you see like the lighter gray.
It's weird because the way, at least in this photo I'm looking at, it's almost like it is a cutout. You know, like a cowl.
Yeah,
you
but
would
like
have.
it's just like it's a cutout, but like there's still a film over it.
So it's like having mesh instead of.
Yeah, and I think that is bad, but I think the rest of the suit's fine. I just think that is a really kind of ugly design.
I mean, the rest of the suit feels very in line with other Batman Beyond
Yeah, it feels like they took the original and
iterations,
just
beefed it up a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, because this, if you think about like the Batman Beyond, like animated series, that's very trim.
Yeah.
Kind of look.
They added
this is
like
a
some,
little beefier.
yeah, they added some like arm wing flares and the red,
belt.
yeah, and the belt, and then the red stripe, like the red bat symbol is kind of now a straight line, and the red to the shoes at the bottom, like red
Right.
soles. It's just the mask where I'm like, it just kind of looks stupid.
It feels like they couldn't commit of like, do we show a cowl style bottom of the face, or do we keep how we had it before, which was like the full cover?
Yeah, they went for an in between.
They wanted to have their cake and eat it too, so to speak.
Yeah, and it's the only thing about the suit that I don't like.
I think I agree. You know what it is also? Because the reason why I always loved the full cover is it really gave this very evocative, mysterious image.
Yeah.
You know, and because it was very striking with the all sleek black
Yeah.
look, and then just the red across the chest.
Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe because they already have thrown in these other elements, they felt like it was okay to like break up the face, because I guess if you have other stuff to look at, like accessories, if you will,
Yeah.
it feels a little less awkward. But I don't know. I personally, I always loved the very
Yeah, I personally, I kind of wish they just kept the mask the way it always is.
yeah.
But yeah, still mad about losing out on that animated movie.
R.I.P.
And possibly the third act to the story.
So there's like, we'll let you know, or
Literally, because they're pretty active on Twitter.
oh, okay, the creators.
I hit up one of them. I was like, hey, so
Act
like
3?
like last month, I was like, hey, any news? And they're like, not yet. Boy, I wish there was. And they're like, so if you haven't bought anything, buy it. And I'm like, I sure have already, man.
Unlucky.
Which is wild because like the Hive Mind's doing a lot of really good shit right now. You think they would just be like, fuck it, just go put it out, because they're doing a lot of big stories and people that people are loving. But
The people in power love money, but they hate money when they know the general public will love it.
yeah,
It's very bizarre to me.
I will say DC has been doing great in general with stuff that they've been doing, especially as of late. But so this is like my one thing where I'm like, fucking come on, man.
DC in terms of comics.
Yeah, in terms of comics, they have been doing fantastically.
Because I was going to say, I don't think you mean in terms of movies.
In terms of comic sphere, they have been doing fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah, they've just been kind of knocking it out of the park with a lot of initiatives.
So why
lately.
can't they bring that same energy to the movies?
I mean, they're currently working on it.
I know.
Superman looks like it's going to be great.
I know, but I rather the DCEU.
That was a lost cause because Snyder was running it. Let's be real.
I guess.
And I know I'm a Snyder hater, but like, it was never going to be what anyone wanted it to be.
No, I personally believe it's valid to be a Snyder hater.
I mean, I feel like it becomes more and more evident every time. The man had full creative control over Rebel Moon. Nobody had any input on that except for him. And he's still releasing a director's cut. Your original version's a director's cut.
That's crazy. I haven't heard particularly good things about Rebel Moon
I've heard
either.
Terrible things about each version.
Why do studios keep giving this man unlimited money?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Are his fanboys like that strong?
Yeah, I guess. But he got the Snyder cut.
I know. I watched it. It took me 2 days to watch it.
Yeah, I also think it sets a bad precedent, but I think we've talked about that before.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to go. We could keep talking, but I'm starving, and it's late, and I haven't eaten anything all day. So, thank you for watching this week's episode of the Vaguely Animated Podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, leave a review, follow. Check out Kat at Kat the Moonstar on Twitch. You have 1 week to watch Carol on Tuesday. Netflix, 24 episodes. Kat. You don't watch these episodes. I don't know why I'm doing that.
And this will come out,
Yeah.
After the fact. Okay.
Don't you question me.
Anyway. How silly of me.
Yeah, how dare you. Anyway, yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week for Anime Club. So
yeah,
get on that and see if they liked it or not.
Bye.
Bye.